straight in. Hello, Emily Burns. How are you today?
I'm very good, Stu. How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right. So we're recording this on the 2nd of March. Are you kind of feeling the same as me in regards to a little bit of good news from the government last week, and the sun seemed to come out last week? Are you feeling a kind of little hint of positivity?
Yeah, definitely. It feels like it was good news, and there's good things on the horizon. So as long as we all just, try and stay positive now, it's not going to be too long before hopefully life can get back to some kind of normality.
Fingers crossed. So, well, let's just look back briefly across the last year, and how have you found that as Emily Burns human being and Emily Burns creative?
Yeah, I guess it is kind of two different things, because on a creative level, I've managed to keep releasing music. I've kind of been, we sort of, me and my management kind of had a release plan set out before lockdown hit. So I was fortunate because we kind of had all the music ready. So it was like, let's just keep releasing music, keep kind of creating videos from home. And I actually really enjoyed the challenge of like finding new ways to be creative, but from your bedroom. Like, it was a really strange experience, but I think we managed to do quite a good job of that over this last year.
That's been something that's definitely been, something that a lot of my guests have said, and it's going back to, well, look, all of your usual resources, they're not there. So it's like, okay, so what have we got? And it's like, well, what you've got is basically just a punk ethic of like, well, I've got to go DIY. I've got to literally work with what I've got in this small space here. I've got to kind of do as much as I can. And that, I think, has spurned some incredible creative output.
Yeah, 100%. I remember at one point over the first lockdown, I opened my front door and there was like this huge VHS camera, like bigger than I've ever seen in my life. And my management had sent it to me and just said, film what you can, like film yourself getting up in the morning, film yourself doing cooking, brushing your teeth, taking a walk, whatever. I was like, I can't, it was huge. Like, I can't film myself taking a walk with this. But fortunately, my housemate was there and he helped me film some stuff. And we actually came up with a really cool music video out of that. So I think, yeah, it's been, I've really enjoyed finding new ways to do that.
And personally, how have you found it?
It's been hard, like, and I think especially over the last lockdown, like this one we're in now, it's kind of, I do feel like it's hit that wall, and I do think a lot of my friends and my family are saying the same thing. It's like everyone's hit that point of we can't take any more of this now. But I've got great people around me. I'm really lucky. I know I'm really fortunate in my situation. So I've managed to stay pretty positive and hopeful. And I'm still able to be doing my career. So I'm very lucky with that, I know. So it's all good.
Good. Right, Emily, let's talk records. Track 1. Emily, tell me the song that you think's got the greatest ever intro, please.
The greatest ever intro to me, and this is because whenever this song comes on, anywhere, anytime, any place, it makes me want to dance, and I don't dance. Like, I am probably the worst dancer you will ever.
Does it stop you trying?
Oh, no.
Good.
No, not at all. But my song with the greatest intro ever is Do What, That Thing by Lauryn Hill.
Oh, it's good, isn't it?
It's so good. And when it comes in, it's just like, you just get up. You just can't help yourself. You just want to move. You just feel good. It's just like, if you've had a bad day and that song comes on, it doesn't matter. Nothing matters anymore.
So remind me, it starts with, is it just start with the piano, the ding, 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 and then like, does she do a little bit of like is there oohs and ahs at the beginning?
Ooh,
Yeah, but it's
yeah, and
when
there's all these harmonies.
yeah,
Just so feel good and so like.
and you're just waiting for that horn drop, right? The ba ba ba, yeah. Ah, it's wonderful. Great
Yeah,
chat, great chat.
exactly. In fact, I desperately want to listen to that song now. I'm not gonna lie.
That whole record, that first Lauryn Hill album, I think that's an absolute masterpiece. I really do.
So good. Actually, I went to see really randomly. I went to, do you know XOYO?
Of course, yeah.
And there was like this kind of string recreation of that whole album. Just with like, yeah, there were like 20 string players on the stage, just doing the whole of that first album. Like it was insane.
Wow, when was that?
Oh, it must have been like 3 years ago now, maybe.
Oh man, I never knew about it. I would have been all over that.
I
That
know. If
sounds
they're ever doing it
amazing.
again, I'll hit you up. I'll let you
Do
know.
it.
Let's go.
Do it. Well, as a young artist in the current kind of world of pop, I'm just interested because I sit there and I watch my kids and stuff and how their attention spans are moving very, very quickly with Snapchat and all these TikTok and all of these different kind of sort of things that are just swipe, quick, and it's all very bite size. And the intro that you've chose there is actually quite a long intro.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going round the houses with this question, but I'll get there in the end, Emily. And so, what I want to know is when you approach sort of songwriting and music, and are you aware? I guess with the intro more than anything that it's quite a fast-paced world of attention spans now, and you've got to get them quick. Is that something that's a consideration for you?
Yeah, I think you're right. And it's not something I've ever really actively thought about, but I do think let's get straight to the point as quick as possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I always like to get to the chorus as quick as possible. So the shorter the verse you can write, I love a pre that's like a line. Do you know what I mean? And then it's just bam, there's the chorus and there's the thing that draws people in. So I guess it's something I hadn't really consciously thought I was doing, but yeah, I definitely would agree with that no long intros, sadly, in my
Yeah.
world. But I think like Lauryn Hill gets away with that intro because it draws you in immediately, doesn't it? Like,
And I think that could be a product of when it was released, because I guess when that came out, which was, I reckon that was a lot longer ago than I'd actually like to imagine. But when that came out, I guess records like that were still getting played on the radio, whereas now commercial radio, it is far more right. You got 2.5 minutes, make it can. It feels like that to me anyway. And I think would that record, if it come out today from a new artist, would they have to do an edit of that and cut straight in with them horns? Do you know what I'm saying?
no, you're right. You're right. They don't even let you finish your song these days. As soon as they can, they jump in there like, oh, that was Emily Burns. It's like, you haven't heard the best bit yet.
All right. Well, I'm gonna take you back now for track 2, please. And it's the first song you remember hearing that had an emotional impact on you, please.
Yes. So this is, you might not believe me because I think I was around 5 at the time, but I kind of grew up in a really musical household. Like my dad was very musical, my mum loved music, my brother played guitar as well. So I grew up with music around me. And I remember being 5 and hearing Macy Gray, I Try, for the first time, and just being like, what is this? Like, that feeling of just music does something to us, right? And I genuinely can remember being that young and thinking like, this is incredible. I love this. I love music. And then from that point on, I just would sing it everywhere we went. Like I think I probably drove my parents wild because I just wouldn't stop, and like at any opportunity I'd get up in public places and perform it. And like I remember this one time we were on a family holiday, and I just took it upon myself to like stand on this box in the market and start singing Macy Gray, I Try. And we got like a little bit of a crowd gathered because I was 5, 6 at the time. To be fair to me, I wasn't very good. But yeah, I have some really good memories with that song. It's one of those that like still, whenever it comes on, you sort of put the windows down in your car and you just like feel good. It's feel good. It's
It
just
is.
a beautiful song.
It's a wonderful record. And what was the emotion if you had to pinpoint it?
The emotion, I think just like joy. I know that sounds really cheesy.
Not at all. Not at all.
I think it was just a real start for me of realizing that music is such a beautiful thing that makes you feel, you know, physically something incredible.
And do you know what? I totally get that. And a few people have sort of answered very similar to that, insofar as like it's the first time like they felt music rather than just heard it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that's it. And I think it helped that it was like an important song to my parents as well, and they loved it. And like it was, I think, one of those times where it's just like realizing as well that music brings people together. Yeah, it's a very special song to me, and I still love it dearly, and I just think it's amazing.
And at 5 years old, did you think she sounded like Marge Simpson?
Do you know what? That is a great shout. I've never actually personally made that comparison.
I've probably just spoilt that record for you.
100%. It's ruined. It is ruined. No, I didn't make that connection, but do you know what? When we're done, I'm going to go have a listen and I'll let you know.
Hey, mate. All right, for track 3, the song that reminds you of your time at school, please, Emily.
Okay, there was a good few considerations and contenders for this one.
You can have honourable mentions.
Okay. It was almost going to be One Republic, Stop and Stare.
Mm-hmm.
I think because, well, just there were quite a few One Republic songs that I remember just like came on at school discos and stuff, and it's like the kind of like throw your arms around your mates, like that feeling. That's it was nearly going to be that, but then it just got overtaken by the script, The Man Who Can't Be Moved, which I think was like it was played everywhere when I was at school. And I actually remember going to see them with some school friends, just like screaming every lyric. It was such a like special gig. And yeah, it's just one of those songs. I remember like being in the back of the car with my mum driving me to football on a Wednesday night, and that song coming on, and just like even my mum would just, bless her, she can't sing at all, she wouldn't mind me saying that. But it's one of those songs that everyone just wants to sing along to, right? So yeah, I'd say that reminds me of my school days.
So in regards to school days, good times?
Very good times, actually, yeah. I had some really good times. I had some good friends, and good friends who like I'm still really good friends with now as well, which is lovely.
And where was school, Emily? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Rugby. Do you know Rugby? Kind of like right in the middle of England. So yeah, I was really fortunate with my school days. Like, and actually don't want to sound like a massive nerd, but I really enjoyed learning and like doing my A levels and stuff. I genuinely really enjoyed it. I'm not
What
making myself sound particularly cool here.
What did you want to be when you was at school?
A singer.
A singer.
An
So
artist, yeah.
was that encouraged at your school?
Do you know what? No, like it wasn't at all. I went to a really academic school, where genuinely the focus for everyone was like, you get through this and you go to university. And I was one of maybe two people in my whole year that didn't end up going to university because I just didn't want to. Like I've known since I was really young that I wanted to do music, and it just didn't feel like there was anything else that made me feel the way music makes me feel. So I thought there's no point, if I can give this a go and try and make a career of it, why not? And fortunately, my parents were really, really supportive. We spoke with the school and they ended up being so supportive. They let me have so much time off to be traveling to London, working with producers, building my kind of musical network whilst I was still studying. So I ended up probably spending like 3 days at school, 2 days in London for the last year or so. And they were super supportive and they really wanted me to succeed. And now they're like, I'll go back and do performances there and stuff like that. So
Oh, wonderful.
it's lovely. And I think they're proud of me, which is really nice. So
I like to ask guests when they were at school if they were confident, but I mean, before you'd even got to school, you're standing on boxes in marketplaces singing Macy Gray to strangers. Did that confidence ever disappear?
uh, do you know what? I think when it comes to performing, I've always been really confident. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've had moments of absolute like I want to throw up, I'm so nervous moments through my career. But when it comes to actually like getting up on stage, I've always been really confident, and I'm lucky with that because it's like it's kind of different person in a way. I get on stage and it's like, oh, you just sort of forget everything else. But in real life situations, sometimes I would say I'm quite a shy person.
Give me an example.
I don't know, just kind of those situations of like meeting friends, or meeting people you don't know for the first time. I'm definitely like a little bit more quiet in those situations, a bit more introspective. But then I'll get up on stage and perform to a room full of people I've never met. So those two things don't really make sense to me.
Yeah.
But your question, yes, I think I've always been confident as a performer, but maybe not so confident as myself.
Yeah. What about drive? You've driven.
Yes.
You're
Yeah.
you're in a tough industry, so you know I'm always fascinated when I speak to musicians and actors, you know, to find out how driven they are. I'm yet to meet anyone that said, "No, not really."
Yeah. Imagine that's kind of the short answer. No, I'm really driven. I'm very driven. I've always been like super ambitious. And you're right, it is a very hard industry. And there's definitely been moments through my career of like massive knockbacks. And when I first moved to London, there were so many more no's than there were yeses. And I think it does take a really kind of thick skin and a lot of persistence and perseverance to actually mentally go on with it and to kind of keep tackling the music industry when there's so many doors closing in front of you all the time. But I don't know, I've always had quite a lot of belief in myself, and as I said before, I'm lucky that I've had that belief from my family and my friends around me. So I've just never wanted to actually stop, never wanted to give up. There's never been a point where I've gone like, no, this is it now, I'm going to go do something else. So yeah, I would say that was a long way of saying yes, I'm pretty driven.
What was the first song you remember buying from a record shop, Emily?
So this is not particularly cool to say, but I don't think I actually ever, as a quite a young person, I don't think I ever went in to a record shop and like physically bought.
Sure.
Is that bad? That's
No,
quite
no, it just means that like you're young. That's all.
I was changing. I don't know. I don't remember actually doing that, but I remember like on Christmas Day opening CDs that my parents, or sorry, Santa got for me.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, yeah. Hopefully there's no one too young listening to this. And I remember just being like overwhelmed and so excited. And I remember getting a Walkman this one time. And like I used to sit in the back of my parents' car, just like listening to my Walkman, playing all these CDs that they'd bought for me. And I remember this one particular album. I think it was a self-titled album from Corinne Bailey Rae, like the first one she ever released. I think it was just called Corinne Bailey Rae. And obviously that album is full of amazing tracks. And Put Your Records On is still one of my favorite go-to songs that I cover all the time. It's just a feel-good summer amazing tune. But there's one song on that album called Like a Star. And just every time that song comes on, I think it starts with like this weird D minor chord. Every time it plays, I'm like, hairs on the body stand up. Her voice is just beautiful. It's such a beautiful lyric. And there's just so many lyrics. There's like a lyric in that song that's like just like oil on my hands. I don't know, it's such a, what's the word? Visceral? That's not the right word, is it?
Yeah.
It makes you just physically feel things, that song. So yeah, I'd say that's probably, well, not the first song I ever bought from a record store. It's a long way around your question, but that's what stands out to me.
I tell you what, your summer mixtapes shaping up pretty good, because both of them Corinne Bailey Rae records are incredible. Macy Gray, Laura Neal. That's a really good summer mixtape. If I was to put one together, they'd all be on there. So yeah, you're putting together a great little mixtape so far.
Oh,
You're talking about listening to your Walkman in the back of your folks' car and stuff. And you said that your parents were very musical. So growing up, I presume there was music on at home a lot. And if so, what sort of stuff was you getting sort of exposed to musically?
yeah, again, I think I was really lucky because my parents were like, they were always listening to like true songwriters. Do you know what I mean? Like The Police, Elton John, Joni Mitchell, the Stereophonics, even like, and I think I just always grew up knowing what a kind of verse, pre-chorus, chorus, that like I knew the structure of a pop song kind of before I even started writing them, just because it was kind of ingrained in me from the music that I've been listening to growing up. So yeah, I think I was lucky that they had good taste, definitely.
Okay, for track 5, I'm going to ask you for the song that, well, I'm not even going to say soundtracked. I'm going to say soundtracks because, you know, you're young. You're probably still at clubbing. The song that soundtracks your years in clubland, please, Emily.
Okay, do you know what? The reason that I've given the answer I've given for this question is because I'm not actually a clubber. Like I don't really club very much, if I'm honest.
What's a night out for Emily Burns then?
I love a pub.
They're the best, right?
They're the best. I love a pub, or I just love a good bar, or somewhere that there's live music on, or something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I've never, and I do enjoy it. Every time I go to a club, like I do have a really good night and I do have a good time. But it's just not something I've done much of, if I'm honest, in my life. So my answer for this is Wannabe by the Spice Girls. Because, hear me out, it's the kind of song, and one of my really good friends, Lauren, is like the biggest Spice Girls fan in the world. And so it's often when I do end up going out, it's like to somewhere like Pop World or something like that, one of those places, and she'll always request this song, always, and it's like one of those that everyone, whether you're in your 80s or you're 18, everyone knows that song, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's got a good intro. That grabs you straight from the off.
Exactly. And it's one that whenever it comes on, you just drag everyone to the dance floor and you're going to have a dance and you're going to sing it. Again, I don't dance, so I usually just, sway a little bit.
For people that can't see that, Emily's just doing an example of swaying.
Yeah, it wasn't my best move.
Okay, well, I'm going to take you home for track 6 and ask you for a favourite song from an artist from your home county, please, Emily.
Okay, this was actually like a little bit more tricky because I was born in Scotland, and I was born in a place called Livingston. So I was kind of like trying to look for artists from Livingston or West Lothian, and the nearest I've found is Edinburgh, because Livingston's pretty close to Edinburgh. So hopefully you don't mind me saying.
I'll let you off.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Because I was going over to Glasgow and I was like, he's not going to let me have that. So I've gone with Edinburgh. I've gone with Katie Tunstall. Because again, like growing up, she was someone that I looked at and I was like, wow, she's like a woman playing the guitar, writing songs. I like really looked up to her and still do. I think she's a brilliant artist. But she's got this one track called Heel Over. And it's just a really special song to me. It just makes me feel happy. And it's like probably the most interesting chord progression I've ever heard in a song ever. Like, and I've tried to cover it myself, and I sit down and I'm like, why does this sound so weird? Like it doesn't really make sense that the chords that she plays sound nice together. But I don't know what she does, but she just got this way of making it sound brilliant. It's a beautiful song. It's very special personally. So yeah, Katie Tunstall, Heel Over.
It's a great record, and I mean, a lot of people kind of throw a lot of respect to Ed Sheeran for being this master of guitar pedals and loops and stuff like that. Way before that, I remember seeing Katie Tunstall on Jules Holland or something like that, and I was like, who the hell is this and what is she doing? It was like, I'd never seen anything like it before, and it blew my mind.
It was Black Horse and the Cherry Tree, right? Because she did the woohoo.
Yeah.
Smacking the guitar, and I remember seeing that as well, and just being like, "What the hell?" And she called. Are you allowed to swear on this?
Yeah.
She called it a wee bastard, right?
That's right.
That was what she called this loop pedal kind of, and it was, I think, the same one that Ed Sheeran used. And I remember watching, and I'll hold my hands up and say after that I bought one.
Yeah. I bet sales of that went through the roof.
It didn't ever end up actually working out very well for me. Not as well as Kate Tunstall and Ed Sheeran, unfortunately. But yeah, she's an amazing artist. Amazing artist.
Absolutely. Right. It's your last song, and this is when you can play DJ now, Emily, and turn someone onto something new. So for track 7, I'm going to ask you for a song that many may not know that you would like them to hear, please.
Okay, this was one I had to actually think quite long and hard about, because I thought this is my opportunity. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
To let people know, to spread some good music to the people. I've chosen a song called Bathwater by Wesley. More people than I think might know them, but Wesley are amazing, and they've got some amazing tunes another song called Tongue Tied, which is just like, it's one of those hit you in the heart songs.
When you went to say that, you drew a big breath, like it took your breath away about just thinking
Yeah,
about it.
it really is. And there's this part that kind of escalates into the chorus that just every time it happens, it's kind of like out of body. And I know that sounds really cheesy and weird to say, but it's just one of those songs that makes you feel amazing. That's not the song that I've chosen. I've chosen this song called Bathwater because, again, and it's I wouldn't say it's an intro, but it just hits you from the off. It just kind of comes in with this amazing lyric of, you know how to make me want you drunk again, sipping on your bathwater. And it's like the weirdest, most twisted kind of, and I remember hearing it for the first time, just think, did they really just say that? Like, is that genuinely the lyric? I hope that is the lyric and I've got it right. You know, when you sing the wrong lyrics to yourself all the time. Maybe I've been doing that, but amazing song.
I mean, give listeners an idea of kind of what they can expect from it. What sort of vibe is it?
It's pretty it's quite synthy. It's very vocal driven, to be honest. Like when that first, what I was just saying, when that first lyric comes in, it's just vocals. It's just like super dry, very kind of close in your ears. I love that about music, when it's just like the kind of talking in your ears. Yeah, very synthy, pretty poppy. I'm a very pop, as you can probably tell from a lot of my choices. I love pop music. I'm a massive pop head, so I would put it in a pop category. Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, people can go and listen to it, Emily, because I put together a Spotify playlist of all the songs that you've chosen, and we'll add that to the bio of the show notes so people can go and get stuck into all of your choices. So as we are ploughing into 2021 now, what are you looking forward to personally coming from this year, and what's coming up professionally?
Personally, I'm looking forward to seeing my family again. Like, and it does feel, as we were saying at the start, it does feel that that's on the way now, which is lovely. My brother and his wife have just had a baby like 2 weeks ago, who I obviously haven't met yet, and I'm just desperate to meet him. So first and foremost, as soon as we can, I'm going to be seeing all my family. And on a career level, I just can't wait to play live again. I'm sure that's probably what a lot of people you're asking are saying, because I think I was supposed to, yeah, my tour has been postponed several times, as has everyone's. So I'm desperate to get back on the road, to get touring, to get playing live. There's nothing like the feeling of getting on stage and playing in front of a room full of people. I don't know what festivals are, I don't think there's going to be much on the festival front this year. But again, if there's any opportunities, I'm going to be there, even just as a listener. Do you know what I mean? I said to my mate the other day, he was like, I bet you can't wait to get back on stage. And actually, I'm almost more looking forward to just going to a gig as a viewer, a listener, rather than as an artist, because there's nothing like it.
I think both artist and attendee are both going to get, like, some of these early shows back. I think people are going to get an experience that they've probably never experienced from live music ever. I think the band are going to just be literally playing their balls off, and the crowd are just going to be giving so much back because we've been starved of it, right? Yeah. And I think it's just going to be the excitement and the anticipation and just the outpouring of joy and soul and everything. I just think it'll be a two-way thing. Well, if you're on the stage or if you're in the crowd, I think you're going to get something magical at these first shows back.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think live music's going to be like it never has before. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to play live, very excited to release new music and just hit 2020 hard. Hit 2020,
Let's
2021.
not go there. I don't want to do that one again.
We've just missed the whole year.
It don't count, does it? Last year feels like it don't count. I'm like, last year, oh no, not last year, the year before. Like, because last year's just not a thing. I mean, in regards to rescheduled tour dates, potential festivals, new releases, where's the best place for people to find out all about Emily Burns?
Best place is probably, I mean, if you go on my Spotify, just look up Emily Burns, you'll see my tour dates on there and you'll see kind of what's upcoming. You'll see my latest releases. Also Instagram, just Emily Burns Music. That's where I'm posting all my like tour posters and updates and stories, and they're probably the best places to look.
Wonderful. Well, if it's cool with you, we'll tag you in all the posts when this show comes out, so people can go and explore if they've not done already. Emily, thank you so much. It's been a real pleasure talking records with you.
Yeah, likewise. It's a lovely way to start the day. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bev.
I've just pressed stop.